sheet, we got the paperwork here for you. I've laid out styles, but we'll get to that as we go through. Give us that rundown. Have you had falls, accidents, you're trying to prevent it?
We haven't had any incidents lately, but in the 7.5 years that I've been here, we have had a couple incidents kind of related to footwear. The one that pops to mind is a guy had a sole coming off of the toe of his shoe.
Yeah.
He was coming down some stairs, caught that sole, and it flipped him down the stairs and hurt himself. And so if he'd had a boot on that was in good repair, that would have never happened.
Well, is there safety standards at this point set up? I mean, is it a safety check at this point, or for that?
It's very informal at this point.
Okay.
Supervisors are supposed to keep an eye on their.
But there is no option for soft toe, or is it steel toe only, or some kind of protective toe?
So most crews are required to wear steel toe boots,
Okay.
or safety toe boots. It doesn't have to be steel; it could of course be composite. We have a couple crews which are lower risk, so they don't have to wear steel toe boots, but a lot of them do anyway.
Okay. I mean, is that management type thing, or what is that? I mean, is that?
Okay.
I mean, offset are they out there all the time?
Office as well as there's a couple crews that just don't deal with heavy stuff as much. I want them all to be in it, but I just haven't gotten to that point.
Yeah, because earlier you pointed out the yard itself and the job that they do, and in terms of my background as far as the steel toe thing and coming, kind of inputting that, I got some shoes out here, but similar to what we have run into in some other shipping or boat vessels and that kind of thing is, I mean, Safe Boat is looking at the same thing. It's protecting their people and instituting a program where they participate and using the hassle-free program that we have. I mean, we call it hassle-free, but we adapt to anything that pretty much is in existence right now. Okay. So in terms of height requirements, we'll get into that and we'll go down the line. But if you open up this little program here, and we can go page by page. It's just a guide that I use in terms of just making sure that what we do for you and why you choose the Red Wing name, because we are, again, we don't have to introduce ourselves, but that way. As far as Red Wing and one of your guys down in the hallway, hey, you're gonna give us Red Wings today. So the name is out there. So we really go from there. I mean, in terms of the service side of things, we have dealers in this area. We have wherever they live, north or south, and we're right kind of in the middle where you have Bellingham, our Red Wing store there, and then in this area here you got Stowe's Clothing, great dealer for us, and in Western, or Work Outfitters, not Western, Work Outfitters in Mount Vernon. So the availability is there, but we also always try to incorporate a shoe-mobile.
Van, truck program, how does that typically work? Like frequency of dropping by, is it up to us? We say we want them here once a month, or and in time of day, and how does that all work?
Okay, just what you said is all part of it. Just however you work that. We have a calendar. Yes, we would obviously tell you the days that the calendar is available, or we would work it that we always try to be cost effective and say they're up here north already. Okay, all right. And I thought of that too the last couple of days. Like if we were going to go to Trident Seafoods, we would hit this right here. Okay. Yeah. So there's other places up here in this area. I mean, we get far north is the Boeing Everett, that thing. We do the ADT up here, Marysville, that Arlington area. Okay, it's a Boeing supplier.
Okay.
So, but that's only a couple times a year. But if you had that access where we had Red Wing, where they're coming to you and say, hey, when's the Red Wing truck coming? You would call us. We would give you the dates. We set the hours as far as what's going to cover the shifts better. I mean, if it's 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning, they stay till they covered before. And a lot of times what we like to do is say there's a switch changeover at 2:30. We come here at noon or so and stay till the switch at 4. So we would know that then everybody coming and going had access to it. We provide you the poster and all the information that when the time and date is going to come, and you get it out into the proper areas. You announce it in your safety meetings, that kind of thing. But it's a function of when we're going to get a good response. I mean, we don't come up for 1 or 2 pairs, but that way we wouldn't be doing that type of thing. But if there's a quarterly or monthly that you feel it would be necessary, that's where we would like to just discuss with you. What do you think we're gonna get? Are we gonna get 25 guys? We're gonna get 40 guys? You know, that kind of thing. You're never gonna get, I don't think, I would love it if we announced this and revenue's gonna come and we're gonna kick this off with 100 pairs of 290. That's what we're looking for too. I mean, but if we're gonna provide the support for the guys that like that kind of access, then we'll discuss bringing this fuel wheel up here.
Yeah.
Put some subsidy behind it, meaning you're gonna pay some portion of the bill and let the company, or let the employee pay it at the time of sale, or another option is payroll deduction. Yeah, I mean.
I've seen it done both ways at different facilities.
Right.
Yeah, where I started my career, they would give, just you bring in your receipt and say, yep, see, I bought a new pair of boots, and then they would just give them a $50 check. And that would happen once a year. And I've also seen then the payroll deduction as well, so.
Well, again, payroll deduction is a great way, it's a benefit if there is no subsidy. Payroll deduction and a subsidy,
Yeah.
you get better participation. Less out of pocket, but then they know they can divide up the rest of it in
Right.
smaller chunks.
Great.
That's kind of that holdback, maybe that guy that couldn't afford it at the time.
Exactly.
But if he went at that point and says, well, I don't have to worry about coming up with the $150, $200 or whatever at this
Right.
point,
Great.
I can go in and get a pair of shoes right away and keep myself safe.
Yep.
It's kind of also, you're offering them that way, not to have the excuse. What's your excuse for not buying it? Well, you know, something came up in the family, I didn't have the funds, that kind of thing. So,
Takes away a hurdle.
it takes away a hurdle, exactly. So this gets to be done any which way. We put all the information for the program on here, okay? The store locations as far as participating. This is something that would be handed up by a supervisor or you. It's something that can be filled out on the computer, all those different angles of acceptability in terms of that. But once they bring this into a store, be the Stowe's or Work Outfitters or whatever, any of our Red Wing stores, is that then we know they're authorized to wear a pair of shoes. We go to the details of the account on our computer that's in the system. We know that we're selling the proper footwear. And if there's any restrictions or any type of department, say somebody's gonna wear steel toe only, has to have 6-inch waterproof, or meaning a specialty vet guard, being a welder, that kind of thing, then we know we're selling the proper footwear. And at the same time, then you know what they want, and this, if the payroll deduction on this comes back to them with their signature at the bottom saying, hey, I know there's gonna be some authorization. I authorize you to take it out of my check on agreed upon time in terms of 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, that type of thing. So that's on your side, but we try to make that as quickly as possible. So there are options in terms of, but this being the control factor really gives you a way to check on when the shoe has been bought and what they did and where they're at. Okay? So the receipt situation, sometimes with the receipt situation where, they still have to come up with the money and then you come back and they get reimbursed a week later, 2 weeks later, that hesitation is kind of taken away. But then at the same time, what happens here too, should there be a subsidy involved? So like you're saying, I'm gonna give them $100, the rest is on you. That $100 is always in play with you. If they come back and return the shoe, the credit comes back to you for the 100, it doesn't go in their pocket. Okay?
Nice.
So that's one thing you can, if you're gonna explain the program to the upper management, we're gonna set this money aside on a yearly basis, but it's always gonna go for the proper use. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's a real strong issue as far as a benefit to the program, and you know what's going on. The length and longevity, life of the shoe, if you take care of it, you're gonna be okay. You know, we like to stress that with our people. So we have the tune-up situation here, and they get to the stores, they come to see us, or they do it on their own. But we like to teach them, hey, take care of the boots. You got an investment, you're gonna do a year, you're gonna need 2 years, or whatever you're gonna get out of them. But don't let the leather crack, dry out, rip, tear, that kind of thing. Okay? So they get free laces for life, but if they brought it into one of our Red Wing stores, we oil them up and get them back for no charge at all. Get them back to their regular, put the same stuff that's in the factory on them, get the leather back in condition. So, strong deal here. I, in my proposals, always try to say, if you had some of that stuff on hand, right now, if you bought some of the like a gallon of it or pint jars of it and had it at stations around there for them, they would lengthen the life of their boot too by taking the time just once a week, once a month, oiling them up again.
Yeah, even a little bit in the stock room where they just drop into the counter there.
Right, like a lunchroom, break room, that kind of thing. It's worked good in some of the wet areas that I've won. I recommend it to all the people that are outside, but some of the breweries, some of the dairies and that kind of thing, where they know that they're gonna get in all the chemicals, we're just trying to lengthen the life of the boot, okay? But it's an interesting concept, take care of them, you'll get more out of them, okay? And, so the polyurethane, which is, again, stronger on chemicals and things like that.
Yeah.
And we've had no soil separation in terms of the use that they're putting it through as far as oil and gas. I've got it in the dairies and the breweries and working pretty well.
And good for hot work.
I don't know that it's got a heat-resistant top part of it. I mean, that would be something that probably wouldn't stick on it. I'm not sure of the heat-resistant, so I won't say anything until we would check
Yeah,
that out.
it wasn't so much like standing on something hot, but say hot sparks and things hitting it, rolling off.
I would have to check that out before I put any.
Yeah, because we have lots of welding and
Right.
torch cutting work where.
I don't know,
we can
I
have
would
some
say,
hot stuff.
I'd say the heat on the PU is, the heat resistance on the PU is gonna be less than what you're dealing with. And refer to that price list, so we can tailor a program down to the detail of what shoes they'll wear.
Yeah. I would see it staying relatively general.
Okay,
Maybe the most detailed it would be, no slip-ons, because I'm trying to get rid of slip-ons in the yard.
okay,
But yeah,
all right.
we wouldn't get.
So, but
we wouldn't get
but again,
detailed.
that's part of the
But
profile,
that's nice to know that that's available.
that is part of the profile that we would put together.
Yeah.
And I have put together in terms of that, the opportunity for the guys to go into the stores, we give them a list of, the participating places, or you would spread that word, that kind of thing, which they're kind of educated at this point right now. But the program pretty much stays as it is. A discount is given when they get there. They go in there and buy their shoes, okay?
Yep. Well, I
Having,
totally agree
and
with you.
if there's a bottom line, payroll deduction is gonna be kind of like, these guys are working here, we know they're gonna be here next week, let's give them the opportunity to take out another check for 2-3 times. At that being, the participation is greater than just giving you a discount, saying, the truck is gonna be here, hopefully you have planned it accordingly and can get on the truck and buy a pair of shoes.